The suspected gunman in the Arizona shootings left a trail online that gives us insight into his state of mind and possible motive. Now, in hindsight, the warning signs were clear, or at least they should have been clear. So the question is, could something have been done to stop him? Cyber expert Hemu Nigam joins us with some answers. Hey, Hemu, thanks for being with us. I appreciate it.
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me.
Sure. Well, now to start with, when you look at the trail that this guy left, he had disturbing posts on Facebook. He had disturbing YouTube videos that he put up. He had disturbing posts on MySpace that he put up. Shouldn't that have been a red flag to somebody?
Well, Brian, let me just first start by saying whenever there's a tragedy, and this is no question a pretty serious tragedy, we all try to find answers and we all try to find people to blame. And in a sense, I've been thinking about this, and I think we have actually an opportunity here to find something positive in it. And in the sense that when people leave signs of trouble that they're having in the physical world, they may say something, they may act unusual, their friends notice it, but they're not quite sure what's going on inside that troubled mind. Today we have social media. And just like you're saying, this individual had left all sorts of signs in all sorts of places, and we have to figure out what can we do in the future so that we can avert this kind of tragedy.
All right,
and
so
I think there's three...
I was going to say, go ahead and tell me what it is that we can do in the future.
So I think what we have here is three things that can happen. And in a sense, what I call a triage system can be put in place. Number one, users, people who are using these sites and seeing them, oftentimes they'll look at something and say, that guy's kind of strange. And they'll move on or they'll pass it on to a friend. I think we somehow need to raise awareness amongst the users out there. When you see something, report it. Report it to the social media company, because many of these companies actually have people in place who respond to things like this, who respond to potential threats. And in second piece of this triage is, or this triangle, is social media companies. When you receive a report like this, first make it easy for people to get to you. Second, when they do, consider very carefully, should I reach out to law enforcement in this situation? Even if it's just an FYI, because you never know when a police officer is actually tracking somebody or keeping an eye on them, and this may be another trigger that says we better keep a better watch on this individual. And then finally, there's a lot of psychological experts that I've seen coming out who are saying, well, all the signs were there. This guy had all the signs of everything that could have gone wrong, and why didn't anybody do anything? Well, those same psychological experts can be the best help we can have out there, and somehow we have to find a way to bring their eyes onto social media to, number one, raise awareness amongst the users and say, if you see these things, report it. And number two, work directly with social media companies and say, what can we do to help you understand? Your staffers need to be made better aware that when you see these signs, do something about it. So there's a definite call to action that has to happen at this point, or is actually happening now.
Just about a minute, so I just got a quick question I want to ask you now. What you're saying basically is that it's up to the users to police the web and to let authorities know if something looks funky. But the fact is that we have all of these companies that are able to track us for purposes of advertising. Isn't there some way that we can track people and track people who are posting things that should be a red flag that could be potentially dangerous without putting it on other users? Isn't there something, some algorithm, something that can be done on a larger scale?
Well, I think there's definitely an opportunity here to use the power of technology. It could be things such as when somebody uses the word suicide, for example, it triggers a review, or somebody uses certain phrases, it triggers a review. I have to say, though, that can be very difficult to implement. But that said, that's why I think it's an opportunity for three individual groups or sectors of society working together: the psychological experts, the personnel inside of social media companies, and users. So in a sense, the onus isn't on the users, but it's on all of us. We have to work cross-industry, cross-group, cross-sector to try to find the right thing. And I think right now, if there's one thing that, for example, the president can do is call upon a task force to be created to look at how can we use the power of social media to avert a future tragedy like this.
All right, with that, I've got to stop you because we're out of time. Thank you very much, Hemu Nigam. Some very, very good
Thanks for having me.